Hey, what's up? It's Rashad. Of course, OG friend of the fam, Antonio. Upon Further Review podcast, where we are reviewing spoilers, of course, all spoilers for The Last of Us, episode 7, right?
Seven, yeah, seven.
There's only two more of these joints left. The name of this episode was called Left Behind. We hadn't really talked about this. So,
hmm
what was your initial reaction to this?
my initial reaction after watching it was, yo, this reminded me of two things. It reminds me of like a 80s movie date, like an 80s movie, like an 80s movie feel to it, mall and everything like that.
True, very true. Very
Very
true.
nostalgic, for me, myself, you and me, we have that age of,
Yeah,
going
everything in the mall looked very familiar.
yeah, going to the mall was it. But also too, going back to what the other thing was, this was episode was one giant date between Ellie and Riley.
Yeah. Yeah, and after I finished watching, I was like, "Oh man,
Right.
I just I can't take no more, yo. Like,
Yeah.
just emotionally exhausted, man. I'm like, every good like this, these people can't get a win, yo.
Yeah, man.
They cannot get a win, man.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like, oh man, we found something. Everything is great. What I'm saying, we finally can just take a breath, relax, relate, release. And then bam, something happens. It just comes out of nowhere every single time, man. It's like you said, these folk cannot catch a break for nothing. And yeah, I mean, yeah, man, just but also too, this episode as well for me also show the perseverance of love.
Very true. It's like
Mm-hmm.
for me, it really it's almost was like, how can I put this? I really feel like it was the show's way of letting us know that these people really just wanted to be normal people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then it's also the diametrically opposing views of friends
Mm-hmm.
in their basically what they believe in. You know what I'm saying? And the
Mm-hmm.
ideologies, because you have Ellie, of course, just being born and being part of the government, etc. And then you have the defector and Riley wanted to be a Firefly, and
Mm-hmm.
how those two things just didn't really mesh, and
Right.
it wasn't gonna work regardless.
Yeah.
And the fact that even that she was leaving to go to ATL shorty,
Hey.
so either way, like it wouldn't have mattered because she was about to be out anyway. So that also adds to Ellie's grief.
Mm-hmm.
So Ellie was going to be left behind. It didn't matter if they got affected or what. Like Ellie was going to be left behind.
And like she said in the last episode, when Joe was like, "Yo, I'm out. This is you." She was like, "Everyone I ever loved or cared for has either left me or died." And for the worst of it, Riley was going to do one or the other, regardless.
Yes,
Was going to
yes,
leave her, and she's, as far as we know, she's dead. You know what I'm saying? Or she's become, one of the infected.
infected.
Yeah.
Because even like she was like like Marlene crew to me. She was watching me, seeing me like leave and out the
Mm-hmm.
building. But I said, yo, my homegirl, yo, come on. And she was like, nah, she
Nah.
come. So it just was like it's just sad. Even go back to the beginning of the episode where she's it flashes back because your boy is basically he's out for the count. He's
Yeah.
bleeding out on the ground, and
Yeah.
she's trying to just he says, look, yo, just leave.
Leave. Yeah.
And she is having this crisis of conscience because she about to walk out, and then boom,
Mm-hmm.
we get the flashback, which is the episode,
Yeah.
which basically ties together how how she doesn't
Yeah.
she has that tie and she's gonna try to help with him. Blah blah blah.
Also, too, she didn't pick him up and put him on the horse. So he was dragged, and you saw the blood trail. So basically, he was dragged, saying by the horse or whatever to get to the location of the
Mm-hmm.
house they were at. Man, and yeah, losing blood, and then it's being cold out there, losing blood, and it's freezing outside. Ain't a good combination, man, for real. That's just expediting, you know what I'm saying, the call of death. But yeah, man. So yeah, I mean, he was just telling her like, "Hey, just leave me and go," and she just couldn't do it, man. She
Yeah, she
she
couldn't do
was
it.
trying to deal with whether or not she should do it or not, but she couldn't do it. And like you said, then
Yeah.
we get to the flashback, and once
Yo,
again, perfectly done flashback.
again, it was really good. I'm so exhausted emotionally. I was like, oh my God, man. I know this
Yeah,
black girl's about to die. Shout out to Storm. Shout out to Storm Reed.
Storm
She did
Reed.
an
Yeah,
amazing job.
yeah,
Like she did a
amazing
really
job.
good job on this role. Like shout out to her, man. Like
Yeah,
I hope she's definitely a working actress, but I hope she gets some more roles because
yeah.
definitely showed a lot of range they have, especially because Bella Ramsey is always
Mm-hmm.
very, very intense
Yes.
and has this kind of like, like I'm the badass in the room. And
Yeah.
she definitely was able to, like I said in the average, was able to match that and like
Yeah.
basically put her in her place, which
Mm-hmm.
again, which I already knew, like, yo, like they gonna be kissing in this episode because it's just the
Yeah.
vibes. You know what I'm saying? It gives
Yeah.
off very much like, that's my homegirl, but that's really I want her to be my girl though. Like I was like, yeah, like I already know what y'all doing, yo. So and
Yeah.
even the whole time it was setting up that Ellie was probably at the least bit a little a little curious
Curious. Yeah.
just by her whole vibes the whole time. I'm like, yo, you way
Yeah.
too aggressive. Also, I'm jumping around because
Oh yeah.
the
No, it's
story is a
good.
story. It's just
Yeah.
again, they just 80s mall trip. When they went and they went on the way to the mall, they went to that old building and they saw the
Okay.
dead dude. Yo,
Yes.
I'm like people was really upset with me, and I was like, yo, this girl's a psycho, yo, and she was really over there analyzing the dead dude, yo.
Yes.
Like, like,
Yeah.
like, she was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "Oh, it's crazy, right?" I'm like, "Yo, like,
Yeah. Yo, he's dead right here. And then Riley's like, yeah, he won't hear
he definitely
before.
wasn't here." And then the analyst is like, "Yo, like your man was taking like real, probably 25, 30-year-old liquor and oxys at the same time, straight
Yo,
OD'd,
yo, yo.
straight OD'd."
Let's go ahead and just say that probably was some whiskey or something. And whiskey gets stronger as it ages. And then you see the size of them horse pills he was, saying, yeah, straight up like OD. And you saw they was like, yeah, I don't think that was a good idea to mix this, basically.
Like nobody told him this.
Nobody
Nah,
told them
I
this.
think that was the point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, so going back also to shout out to them having a Walkman in this episode, man. For real. I
Yeah,
remember my Walkman, and
me too.
I was pumping straight.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I had a Memorex joint. You know what I'm saying? That
yeah.
had like it was like the sports joint. They had the flap
Uh huh.
over it, so it wouldn't like
Uh huh.
pop out. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so you see Ellie in the flashback. She's like got her Walkman on, and they're running laps inside of a gym. It's like almost like basic training. You know what I'm saying? Almost. And she's just running her laps, and she's going at her own gingerly little pace because Ellie does what Ellie wants to do. The next thing you get this chick Bethany, who just snatches the Walkman from her and is like, "Hey, I'm not running no extra laps because you daggone lagging behind." She's basically like, "Yo, get the molasses out your ass. Let's go and let's move." And Ellie's like, "Yo, give me back my daggone Walkman." And she's like, "Well, what you gonna do?" And she was like, "I'll fight you." And she was like, "Come on now, you ain't gonna fight me." Like
Nah.
she tested her gangster. She was
Nah. She
like, "Yeah,
said, "Yo, your homegirl ain't here no more, yo,
yeah,
and she's the
your home.
fighter."
She's the fighter. Well, she's the fighter. Your homegirl ain't here no more. Like, what you gonna do?" And then Ellie unleashed the beast, and you just see Ellie still on the girl. And then she's like in their I guess commanding officer's office. And he's like, "Yo," and she's like, "Well, she started it." He's like, "Yeah, she's in the hospital right now. What, 15, 13 stitches or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that?"
your master. Yeah, she's in the infirmary with
Yeah,
15 stitches. I was
yeah,
like,
15.
dang.
Yeah. And so,
Get the brakes off
he's
that girl.
right. So he's like telling her, like, "Look here, man, this is the world we in, and you got like two options. Like you got this option. I just kick you out this program. You just become a worker. You're going to be doing some of the most trash work there is. You know, saying you might not eat all the time. You ain't gonna get the best of meals or nothing like that. You're like, yo, it sucks. And then you're gonna have somebody like the girl you beat up in charge of you or whatever. He says, or you can do this. You can get in line, do what you got to do. He says, you get some rank, and then he says, next thing you know, he says, you'll be in charge. You'll be in charge of people like her. You're going to eat well. You're going to have, he said, you're going to have heat in the winter and coolness in the summertime. Like, let me explain something to you. I know apocalypse stuff is trash. You ain't got to tell me twice, bro. With a deal like that, sign me up. I will be an enforcer or whatever, just so I can stay alive. He was like, you don't even have to venture outside. You won't even have to venture outside. You're going to have to stay right here. And so Ellie's like, yo, why do you care so much? And the dude is looking at her like he sees something in her. He sees leadership qualities, and he's just like,
Yeah,
yo, are you going to do this? And she's like, all right, fine. I'll take option number two. And so,
yeah.
we move
Basically told
onward.
your girl, I
So,
said, man, you so smart, you stupid. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
because Ellie just can't get past. She can't get past herself a lot of the
yeah.
times, and you can see how that even when dealing with, especially authority figures in
Mm-hmm.
general, she always it has to be this like this back and forth. She just doesn't want to like acquiesce
You
at
know what?
all.
She's very impulsive too.
Yes, that too.
Very impulsive. So, we cut back to her in her barrack, her dorm, or whatever. And, she got her room decorated with all this 90s, like 80s nostalgia type stuff on the wall. But then you cut around and you see there's a bed across the room from her, and that bed is empty. And I guess that's when you start to say, oh, I guess that's her friend that this chick was talking about that's, not here no more. So she goes to bed, and next thing you know, someone gets in and starts messing with her, and Ellie like goes in defense mode, like gets the person down and whips out her knife, her trusty old switchblade knife, and it's Riley, her friend. And she's like, hey man, I was just playing with you, so thought it'd be funny. And she was like, and it became a big argument, like, yo man, where you been at? Like, you've been missing what she said, 3 weeks or something?
Yeah,
Like, you've been missing for 3 weeks, love. Where you been at? And she's like, I've been out. And she's like, yo, you couldn't tell me this? And she was like, look. And she basically told her, look, man, I joined the Fireflies. And Ellie was like, you what?
get out of here,
Got it. And then
yo.
she was like, yeah, she lifted that shirt up and showed that piece. And she was like, oh. And she was like, well, what the hell made you like, why did you do that? Like, we're fighting the Fireflies. And like I said, people can be friends and still have philosophical differences. You know what I'm saying? Regardless. So the girl is like, hey, look here, man. I'm sorry, this and that, but I got something I want to show you. I want to give you a surprise. I want to show you. Come follow me. And Ellie's like, yo, it is 3 a.m. I'm gonna have to wake up soon. Yo, like, I can't, man. I can't get no more trouble, this and that. She's like, look, just come on, blah, blah, blah. Don't you trust me? And that's what she was like. I don't know if I should or not. It's the best friend. And so Ellie finally says, fine, F it. I'll come with you. And so they sneak out the barracks, and then they get into that abandoned, building that you and me talked about. Because Riley is leading her to some location, and they pass the dead body, and crazy old Ellie's like, oh, look at it, what I'm
And the
saying?
dead body falls
It's
to the floor. It's crazy, yo.
yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I was sitting in my mind. I said, "Oh, please don't let this thing be infected and whatnot." And so it wasn't, but whatever. And so they tunnel through. They cut through, and they get on top of the roof, and they're hopping roof to roof to roof. And then finally, she says, "Yo, we're going over there." And Ellie's like, "Yo, that's the mall." And this is a callback to what, episode 2, when Tess was talking to Ellie, like, hey, how'd you get bit? So you knew this is where it was going to happen right here.
Quick
And
aside,
uh-huh.
this whole scene really took me out of the movie. I mean, out of the show.
It did. I ain't gonna
You,
lie, that
you,
did
you know
too.
why? Because it felt like it was on a set to me.
Okay.
Not the mall, but like them going through the city.
Yeah.
It felt
Yeah.
it just felt small. I don't know why. This is like the first time I'm like, yo, like that really looks like a set and not an
Mm-hmm.
actual on
Yeah.
location. But that's neither here nor there. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So they get to this location, they get into the mall, they sneak in, and Riley's like, hey, and she was like, yeah, because no, when it was on the roof, Ellie had noticed that more lights were being turned on across the other side of the city that hasn't been really. And she was like, yo, how did that happen? She was like, yeah, apparently they fixed some stuff or whatever, the power grid, and it's starting to come up. And because of them fixing the power grid, Riley was like, yeah, that's how I was able to get into the mall, the power grid. But Ellie's also like, yo, they boarded up this mall for a reason. Like, why are we like coming here? And she was like, well, whatever. Let's just go anyways. I've been over here and whatnot. So they get to the mall, and this is when you see kind of like how Ellie bends to Riley's will. And that's the first time we kind of see that, because Ellie always is trying to be the badass, the hard ass, like, I'm not doing this. You can't make me do nothing. And she's like, go through that door, make a right, and go through the other door, and just let me know when you're there. And she's like, for what? And then Riley said, I said, go through the door, they hang a right, go through the other doors there. And she's like, all right, fine, I'll go. And that's when she flips the lights on, and it's the majesty of a mall. And because Ellie was born apparently after the outbreak and
Yeah,
during, she has no idea what this is. I believe Riley might be a couple of years older
maybe.
than, because she actually knew more stuff about it than about stuff that we are just, I guess you could say we would take for granted that she had
Yeah,
no idea about. And
it
she was like,
like
oh my,
it's like either that or because she had parents, she was just more exposed to stuff.
that's
You
true
know what I'm
too.
saying?
Yeah. So what you say?
Also, also noting before they went in, you know what it was, right?
No, what was that?
Water dripping and it was moist.
Yes.
I was like, man, why y'all going? And she was like, ugh, it's
She said,
nasty.
it's slimy in here. It's like, oh
It's
yeah, whatever. Yeah.
God.
Yeah. That's when you just like, ah, oh, stupid little girls. What are y'all doing?
I'm go ahead. Go,
So
my bad. Go ahead.
the funniest thing, she says, holy shit, it's an electric stairs. And I was like, electric stairs? And she was like, yeah, it's called escalator. And she was like, escalator. And it was just seeing her like just never seeing this world. She was like, I'm going up, I'm going down, I'm going backwards. And like almost bust her tail out there. And Riley's like, hey, yo, chill, man. Let's. And she was like, is this one of the five wonders you're gonna show me? I said, wow. I said, this is a wonder that she said. She was like, no. So they're walking through the mall, and it's just like I said, it's just a throwback nostalgia for me growing up as a kid. That's remember, my mom gave me a couple of bucks and here, go to the mall, drop me off at the mall with your friends and stuff like that. And you just and they walk by a Victoria's Secret store. Okay, they walk by this Victoria's Secret store, and they're looking like, that was like, ew, people actually were wearing this, and you see like a little nightie, a sexy nightie or whatever, and
Teddy.
they're Teddy, whatever, and they're laughing, and Riley's laughing, and then she was like, "Well, what are you laughing at?" She was like, "I was just imagining seeing you in this," and I said, that's filler number one. She just threw out. That's what that. That's it. So listen. So listen. Since we jumping around, she threw a filler out. She threw a lob pass out. This episode, like, they were friends, but the whole time you knew that it was something more from both sides. Like Riley has a crush on her, she has a crush, but they not sure if the feelings are reciprocated.
Oh yeah,
So
it's definitely like the unspoken truth. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
so saying something like that, that's like that. It'll just be just like if it was a heterosexual relationship as well, where if a guy was like, "Yeah, I was just pitch," and he with a girl, they just friends and stuff, and he'd be like, "Yo, I was just picturing you wearing this or whatever." That's a filler, honey. He
Yeah,
was
yeah,
throwing,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Like, and you see how like the response wasn't like it's totally negative or like
yeah,
nasty. It was like, oh,
yeah.
okay, okay, okay. All right, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And then
Like,
she said, why would someone wear that? That looks so uncomfortable. It is funny because the
that
thought of
is
a thong,
that is like the argument most of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like
yeah,
especially female clothes in general. Like these aren't functional at all. Like, yeah, I
yeah.
get it. Some dude made
Uh-huh.
this a long time ago. But yeah, so like even so, they going through the mall.
Mm-hmm.
Shows her the Ferris wheel. You know what I'm saying? And they had a
Mm-hmm.
good time on the Ferris wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And what else goes on? The Ferris wheel.
They do the Ferris wheel, and then they go to what I like to call the mecca of them all. She was like, shh, 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 you hear that? And they go and they find what I always went and looked for when I was in the mall, an arcade.
Yeah,
Let me explain
yeah.
something to y'all. For y'all young folk that don't know that may be watching this, the joys of an arcade back in the
Arcades was
day.
yo. Arcades hit
Look,
different, yo. Like going it's the variety. And then at that time, like some of those games were only arcade games. You know what I'm saying? They
yeah.
were not console games.
Uh-huh.
So like you could play like Capcom,
Oh,
Marvel and X-Men and all that. And
yeah.
like, it
The
was
the the four-way X-Men game and the four-way Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Hey, Rashad, I'm just gonna say one thing. And we're gonna take it back to cop. Flipper McCoys, baby.
yeah, I've been there a few times. Yeah,
Yeah, Flipper
I remember flipping
yeah,
McCoys. Yeah,
Flipper McCoy.
I went
Yeah,
there, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
In my head. They even remember Funscape?
Yeah,
I used to
Funscape. Yeah,
love
yeah,
Funscape, yo.
Funscape. Yeah, man. So yeah,
Funscape was
no,
yes,
these are just places
this
that
is a
we
local.
that
Yeah, y'all don't have no
yeah, stuff that
reference
we
since y'all
no representation.
from there. Yeah.
Yeah,
So those are arcades, but like, yeah, them going to the arcade and them paying up to like the Mortal Kombat 2 reference
yeah.
and then playing Mortal Kombat 2 and like,
And the fact that she had the Mortal Kombat 2 poster in her dorm room was awesome because that's why Ellie was so excited, like,
yeah,
oh my god! And then also was a throwback to was it the but 3 episodes ago when they went to the when they stopped at the little convenience store
yeah.
or whatever, and then Mortal Kombat, and she was like got excited because it made her think of that moment and everything, man. So yeah, man. I mean, shit, just your parents giving you money and you just going to the arcade and just having a field day up in there, man. And the fact that, like I said, Riley had been there and she knew and she set this all up for her, where she was like, "Hey, you got any?" She's like, "Hey, you got any money? You got any money for saying so we can do this?" And she was like, she pulled out like $1, and she was like, "Not that worthless crap. Need some coins or whatever." And she was like, and she flipped up the coin machine because she said, "Yeah, I came here." And she broke in to get the coin machine set so they can have it. Even before the arcade, remember they did the photo booth. Yeah,
Yeah. There was
which was
like,
like another major '80s movie trope.
yeah,
So
definitely
yeah.
filler number two, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so they did that. They did
Mm-hmm.
other joint. What's the next one they did in the mall? What they went to?
Now, but before we get to that, they were making so much noise and having so much fun.
Oh, yeah, they were super loud.
That's when the what are we gonna call the roamer, I think, or whatnot, but it was fungalized to the wall, I guess. It
Yeah.
kind of snapped out of it and
Yeah.
heard them.
I wonder when they're gonna actually explain that whole process.
Yeah,
Because they kind of did it like in bits and pieces, but never really explain like the whole like life cycle
yeah,
of an infected if they just live. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Either way, anyway.
yeah,
But yeah,
yes.
so definitely they switch over to your boy over there. And he's just chilling, just gestating, I guess. And
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden he pops up and wakes up, and then switch back to them. And
Mm-hmm.
at this point they go into like a shop. It almost like I guess like a
It's like a back. Yeah, it was a restaurant. It
yeah,
was
it's a
it
rest.
was
Yeah,
like it
yeah,
was in like the food court, and it
yeah,
was like a nacho thing or whatever. She
yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Oh,
yeah,
you got nachos for time?" And she was
yeah.
like, "Get real. Let's go." And,
Yeah. So they went in
yeah.
the back and they talking and it basically tells her like, look, y'all, I did this. Like, I'm going to Atlanta. It's my last night.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And she
And
was
she had
like,
the bombs.
she had the
Remember the
bombs.
bomb?
Like, yo, I would never hurt nobody. She was like, what? You making bombs? You made these? She's like,
Yeah.
yeah. And so Ellie gets into a hissy fit and
Mm-hmm.
she storms off. But I guess the love inside of her makes her come back.
Uh huh.
And which is another trope. And
Yeah.
then she comes back, she hears a scream, and which is the funniest thing because like your
Yeah.
girl is in essentially the Halloween shop. Because remember,
Yeah.
when the time it
Mm-hmm.
happened wasn't around Halloween. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So they're in a Halloween shop talking, and they have these very remarkable masks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's like
these are high quality. You know, like
yeah.
remember on Step Brothers?
Yeah, the Chewbacca. It's like, yeah, you got the movie quality one, but it's okay. That still got my
You
yeah.
know, so like, so yeah, so they had these real masks. They had this, there's dance on top of the glass display, and you take the
Uh-huh.
mask off, and then they have this face to face, and Ellie was like, "Well, shit, you about to go? I'm about to
Yeah.
get mine."
About it.
And
But
yeah, and they kissed, and it was reciprocal, and
yeah.
it's all downhill from there.
Yeah. Because she was just like, so what happens next? Let's just go with it. I said, oh, all right. And the next thing you know, they go in for another kiss, and then they hear the noise. They turn around and look, and my man comes, the little, what I'm saying, the cordyceps man comes out, and he's just chasing. They're fighting them off, and at one point, daggone Riley gets knocked out a little bit, and
Yeah.
Ellie is like, shaking it in the ribs cage, and I'm like, girl, go for the head, baby. That thing ain't gonna do nothing because what I'm saying, don't care if it's feeling.
Nah,
And then,
because she was still, I respect it because she was still ready.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
right. And then, like, Riley comes and helps and like knocks it down, and then it pins Riley up against the wall, and you know Ellie gets back up and takes the blade and finally stabs it in the head, and it passes out. And then you see Ellie's like, yeah,
Yo,
whoa.
she is so amped, yo.
Yeah, man. She's like, yeah, that's how you do it. Whoa, yeah. That adrenaline's rushing. And then Riley looks down and sees that she's been bitten. And let me tell you something, that bite was disgusting because when she said no, 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 squeezed it, you saw ooze of the stuff. I was like, ew, or whatever. And like she just couldn't take it.
Nah,
And
she
she was,
was defeated. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
and then Riley just showed her like got bit on the
Got bit
hand
too.
too. And like then it just cuts back to present day where she's like frantically looking for something to help Joel out, so it's this right here, it's like a cut back and forth scene.
Yeah.
So she frantically is trying to find something to help Joel out, and what does she do? She stumbles across some thread and needle, and she's like, she comes out, looks at him, and it's like like an unspoken thing once again, and she's like, all right, and she just no type of what I'm saying, antiseptic, no type of painkiller,
Sedative or nothing,
sedative,
yo.
just straight stitching him up with a needle is some thread, and she's making her way. But then it cuts back to the past where Ellie is just losing it, and you see the juxtaposition between how both of them are dealing with their fates. Ellie is upset, she's smashing up, what I'm saying, the display and all this stuff like that, and Riley is just like just content. She's just like, yo, I mean,
It is what it is.
it is what it is type thing. And and then Riley says, yo, we got two options here. We can either option A, what I'm saying, where we kill ourselves, or option B, where we just, sit here together until it happens. And she was like, I think Cordyceps got the dog, but and she was like, no, we ain't killing ourselves. So, it was kind of like almost like a Romeo and Juliet type thing right there, where they sat there and they were going to blissfully just pass on together. And like I said, another great episode, and it just fades to black, so it doesn't show us them. So I'm still curious about what happened, saying, like, did Ellie just watch her turn, and did she have to kill her after she turned?
I
Or
hope they don't show it. I can't take no more. I can't.
right.
That's
Yeah,
what's my
yeah.
coworker. She was like, "Yo, like, I want to think on shows what happened." I said, "Look,
We
I'm
know.
done.
Yeah.
I let's move forward. You know what I'm saying? I also the
Yeah.
preview for next episode. It don't like it ain't got nothing to do with this. So
Yeah.
I am done.
That don't mean nothing. They can still show a flashback like they did
I
last
know,
episode. It went
man.
back. So y'all just gonna show us see my little man and his brother kill himself again. Come on, man. So yeah, but this episode here, man, like I said, is another um emotional roller coaster, man. And it's just like you see why Ellie is how she is even
Yeah.
more in this episode and why she's trying to fight to keep Joel around because she hasn't had anyone really, I guess, for the most part, show her this type of affection and love her the way that Joel has been loving her.
Nah,
So
and also she never had any parents.
true, right, right.
So
Because Riley did make that reference where she was like, "Yeah," she was like, "Oh, had you seen a dead?" Because Elliot said, "Have you seen a dead body before?" Like just being creepy as hell, psychopathic. Have you seen a dead body before? After they saw that first dead body, and she was like, yeah, my parents. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot. She was like, hey, it's cool. She said, you never really had to deal with that or whatever. So yeah, man,
yeah.
solid episode. We are now coming down to the last two episodes of the season of The Last of Us. And so far, this has been a solid show. And for me, myself, not playing the game, but possibly the best video game adaptation of a show or a movie for me. Anything from you,
Definitely
Rashad?
the same. Just want to let you guys know. Appreciate you guys coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, we will be back Wednesday. Mandalorian season 3, episode 1 debuts 7 p.m. with the premiere for us. And I went back and watched like the last 3 episodes of Boba Fett because that was
Mm-hmm.
just Mando 2.5. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited all over again. Yeah, but that is it. We will
It
see
is.
you guys. Go ahead.
It is the way.
Yeah, this is the
This
way.
is the
We'll
way.
see you
This
guys
is the
next
way.
time. All right.
All right. Peace out, y'all.